Well, there. I caught you. I caught you.
You know why I just ran out of the room? Because I just had a sneezing fit, Mike. Yeah, now my eyes are watering. Hang on. I think I need some NyQuil. Oh, my God. You know what that refers to, don't you?
I haven't got a clue. The brain isn't functioning too well today.
Okay, NyQuil is like a cough mixture that they give in America, and it's for people who have a runny nose, sneezing, sore throat, and a bit of congestion.
Oh, you mean
and a little bit of a
Omicron?
wheeze. I wasn't going to say it. Yeah, I had to go out the room because I was just sneezing. So, yeah, my eyes were watering. So, yeah, you caught me. I've got to do it again. Oh, it's funny. Hello, everybody.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
welcome.
Aren't you glad you missed me sneezing? Oh, it's all good. Yay.
Well, I hope everyone had a great Christmas. I had a very quiet Christmas. People round. I thought it was a wonderful time, actually. I don't know about you, Linda. How was your Christmas?
Well, Tashi goes and sees her dad on Christmas, so I generally get about a week without her. Yay, freedom!
I'm sure she'd be pleased to hear that.
Well, just to let you know what I have done for the last 2 days, I've been binging on Netflix. I actually made myself a chocolate cheesecake, and it's not in the fridge anymore. And I've been home alone for the most of the time since last Saturday. Oops, sorry, Tashi, I'll have to make another one. What she doesn't know doesn't hurt her, right? Yeah, so I've been watching The Witcher on Netflix. You know, they talk about spells and potions and mages, which are like supreme sorcerers and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, because a lot of people ask me all the time, you know, do I ever make magic spells, etc.? No, I don't, because it interferes with free will. I manifest, which is totally different, because I manifest for my own self under free will and consent.
Yeah.
You know, so people have asked me hundreds of times over the years, I don't like my partner, can you put a hex on him or whatever? I don't do that stuff.
Yeah.
I only manifest good and things that are from the white light loving universe. You know, if someone said, hey, I want good health, I show them how to create that instead of me actually trying to do something. So it's been good watching The Witcher, you know, because they're magicians, they're sorcerers, there's some monsters in it, there's a bit of gore and some R-rated stuff happening, you know, but Henry Cavill, his eye candy, so of course I like that. Hello. Yeah, so that's what I've virtually done for the last 2 days, Mike. You know, I like being home alone over Christmas because I never get lonely, you know, because there's lonely and being alone are two different things. I love just contemplating and just saying, right, what is going on, you know, in my own life. You know, we're coming up to New Year resolutions, I should say, not revolutions.
A fraudulent slip there, Linda.
Yeah, I'm a lot smarter than I look like, right? But at the end of the day, you know, I just sit and I contemplate, you know, where have I been the last year? Where do I want to go in the next year? Yeah. So it is good that I'm here alone without Tashi. It's just me and the cat, who doesn't really move that much anyway. Fat cat that she is. So, yeah, I've had a great time, Mike. You know? Yeah, it's good. I love it.
Well, I've been binging on Tarturian architecture over this Christmas period. And, you know, Joan told me a long time ago that we are not living in the 21st century. We are living in actually what would now equate to the Dark Ages, because that period of what is known as the Dark Ages, she was telling me, didn't exist. This is the, and that's why I got into the Tarturian culture. When you see, like Amiens Cathedral started construction in 1220. If you just look at it, I mean, they couldn't build that today with all their modern technology.
No.
So
And their laser cutting,
yeah.
etc., that they do.
And
No,
so this
it doesn't
period
exist.
of Tarturian
Yeah.
architecture, which they have labelled as the Dark Ages, was the last great golden era. And it kind of fits in with what's happening around now as they try to do this reset and stuff like this. So I've had a little binge on that, and I've had enough of that for now. But I dare say that's going to come back at some point. And
Well,
I would encourage everyone to just take a look at that Tarturian architecture and be discerning and say, how the hell? These
that's
people in
right.
1220 were
Yes.
sleeping in houses that were put together by twigs, and they had not more than
Yes.
axes and chisels and stones, and they've built this grand structure. And of course, these towers are all to do with electrical circuits and so on and so
Oh,
forth.
yeah. Well, back in the 80s, I got right into the Egyptology, and there was this great curator of Egypt hieroglyphs and stuff that he was investigating. And he actually came out, and he was one of the first guys who actually said all that damage on the Sphinx isn't air erosion, it's water erosion.
Right.
So once you start looking at all those pyramids, etc., all the ruins around there, not as being air erosion, it's now water erosion. It gives a lot of insight into what they were actually doing it for. Water is the greatest conduit of electricity, as we know. So that was back in the 80s when I first got that interest in the batteries of what the pyramids were, because they're not just burial crypts.
Sure.
They were actual. And there's two types of stones. There's an underlaying of limestone, but I can't remember what the outer core of the pyramids were. And these two stones, when they connect, it's a conduit of electricity. So, there are, we don't even have that technology now because we've lost it through, our electronic technology that we're trying to go into, So, I love looking at the old and having a look at how they did things, Funniest enough, one thing I did watch was the 10 Commandments with old Charles Heston in it. It started at 2 and it finished at 7. So that was a 5-hour movie.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh. But I watched it. Tashi was here. We watched it. And I was explaining some of how the science proves now that a lot of what was happening back then actually did happen. The burning of the bush, what mushrooms were he eating? Moses went up onto the mountain for 40 days and he didn't eat or sleep, which is, now we're finding out in alternative medicine that's the 40-day fast. When you go into a 40-day fast, like the monks do when they go up into the Tibetan mountains and just sit there for a month and don't eat and don't talk, they go into this state where it creates all this like paranormal, godly, interventional conversations and things start to happen, So I was explaining all this to my 15-year-old because she's right into it all, obviously, with what she does. And, so, it was very, very interesting just, having this reflection time over the past week and a bit, now that she's gone back to her dad's.
Right.
Yeah, it's all good, Duff.
Yeah, super duper. Well, I'll tell you what, without further ado, shall we get on with the show? And let's hear what Katerina has to say first of all. So,
absolutely. Let's bring her on.
Here we go.
Hello, my name is Caterina Campagna and welcome to the Open Door News segment. The news that makes you go, ah! Or what the, I can't believe, what? No, what the? Happy holidays. Let's pretend this is some mistletoe for now, shall we? Now, let's start off the segment with the reason for the season. That's right. We have a Jesus sighting about a week before Christmas in Australia, about 200 miles west of Alice Springs in a small town. There was a gathering of Christians in the outback, and they look up, and who do they see? But Jesus himself. The apparition was caught on tape, photographed, and there are those who believe and those who say it's a lens flare. It is posted all over social media, and as you know, the point of the show is for you to decide. From the holy to the haunted. In 1884, the Winchester family, the family that invented the Winchester rifle, built a Victorian home. And in that home, it is said that the widow of the gun magnate, Miss Sarah Winchester, who was also the person who the movie was made about, Winchester, it was said that she heard ghosts telling her as long as she continued to build upon the Victorian home, that she would be allowed to live. It is rumored that these ghosts, she believed, were the victims of Winchester rifle shootings. Now, she died in 1922, but if you go to her home till this day, you can find stairs that lead to nowhere, as well as doors that open to nothing. And it's also said that, intriguingly enough, the number 13 appears everywhere. Well, here it is. If you're a fan of this show, firstly, thank you. We appreciate it. Secondly, you probably wondered why we haven't spoken about the Salem witch trials as of yet. Well, here you go. We're going to talk about the Joshua Ward house. It was owned by one George the Strangler Corwin, who was a sheriff during the time of the Salem witch trials, and he has reportedly been at the helm of 19 execution of those accused witches. Now, the Joshua Ward house is especially creepy, not because it was just owned by this Strangler character, but also because his body might still be there, since his family was afraid to bury him when he died at the age of 30 for fear of the locals digging up and desecrating his grave. And it is rumored that you can still see his ghost walking around the house, as well as at least one of the witches which he killed. The LaLaurie home in New Orleans. Sounds like such a dainty, pretty name, right? LaLaurie, but nothing could be further from the truth. It is gruesome what happened to the slaves that lived in this house at the hands of Delphine LaLaurie. She would reportedly savagely murder them in her secret attic. One even jumped to his death in order to avoid her wrath. You can hear gruesome screams and even see apparitions walk around the home of the dead. Now, actor Nicolas Cage bought this home in 2007, but for some reason, he sold it promptly in 2009. In the 1800s, Hans Tiedemann came from Germany and built himself a castle in the United States of America in Ohio. Today, it has a reputation for being the most haunted property in Ohio. The Franklin Castle is the place where 4 of Hans's children tragically passed, and it is also said to be the site of multiple murders. What makes it even creepier is that the castle has many secret passageways. Who knows what they were used for? And you can go there today and reportedly hear the sound of children crying within the walls, screaming, and also the vision of a woman dressed in black in the tower window. In the 90s, the property was owned by the husband of Miss Judy Garland of the Wizard of Oz fame and many other projects, but it is not there today under his ownership because he found an actual skeleton in the closet. And that really doesn't bode well for real estate listing. That's all for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Happy holidays. Happy 2020. Happy every day. If you haven't called someone that you think might be lonely or suffering for depression during the holidays, when that kind of feeling tends to pick up, give them a call, text, post. Just let them know you're thinking about them. It'll make both of you feel better. Okay, have a wonderful, wonderful holiday, and until the next time, stay curious, my friends.
And there you have it. I think the world is haunted, actually, isn't it? By the sounds of things. Everywhere, the most haunted house in Ohio, the most haunted house in New York. Everywhere seems to be haunted lately. Don't know what's going on, you know.
Well, darling, it's all good and sweet until you find a bloody skeleton in the closet, you know?
Yeah. Can you
I'm
imagine?
still laughing at that one. Oh my God. You know, I had to have a little giggle at Nicolas Cage too, because that story is true about Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
He heard about this haunted house and he was a skeptic. And he actually said, I don't believe this crud. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
He only had it for a year.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
this is like the guy from Ghost Adventures, Zach Bagan. He bought that DEM house, you know, like Matt Damon house,
Right.
and he ended up burning the whole thing to the ground.
Not that would make much difference because the energy would still be there. It's like Aleister Crowley's house in Scotland.
Oh my God! Yes.
I think Robert Plant from Led
you
Zeppelin
know,
bought it.
You mean Barbara Bush's dad?
Yeah. And oh no, I won't say that next bit. No, because I promised not to talk about.
Yeah, we shouldn't say this so much, should we?
Somebody,
Oh gosh.
the father of someone very, very famous in the music industry, and the grandson of this very famous person in the music industry is a ringer for Crowley. It could be him reincarnated. It's incredible.
Yeah. So come on, give us a little hint. I drop little hints like Gil Bates.
I can't tell you if she loves you. Yeah. I can't say a single thing. All right. So
now, are we talking about the one who died and was replaced?
I don't know what you're talking about, Linda. I mean, it's crazy.
1964. When one died and he got replaced.
You're 66, but you're going crazy anyway. But anyway,
I am a 66 baby. I love being a 66 baby. Yeah. Thank God there's a 9 before it. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Oh my God. Darling, but I love Katerina. I actually emailed her this week.
Right.
I sent her over. Yeah, I've never contacted her. I feel so bad. Yeah. But I thought, no, I've got to do it. It's Christmas. I want to say happy days. And so I said, I hope it's a beautiful email that I posted. Yeah. And I said, look, Dal, you're doing this great job. Here's a copy of my book. Well, I sent her all of my books.
Right.
And I said, here you go. Have a read. Tell me what you think. At least it gives you some more insight.
Yeah.
So, darling, I didn't ask you before the show, but it is Christmas, guys. First 2 that comment their email addresses, you get a PDF version of my book, Heal to Success. Sorry, it's not Heal to Success anymore. It's now 5 Years in Heaven. So as you can see by the thickness of it, it is a big 369-page book. But if you put your comment, your email address, the first 2 or 3, because it's Christmas, I'm feeling generous. So if you do want a PDF of 5 Years in Heaven, the teachings of heaven, where I went when I died.
There we go. We got a taker.
You've already got to take it, yeah. Joanne. I'll send it to you during the next video, okay? So you get it by the end of tonight's show. All right, if anybody else wants one, this is the best thing about watching us live. Obviously, anyone watching after the show, you don't get a chance to get a free PDF, so don't email me tomorrow after. It's only for live viewers, okay?
Yeah.
So, Joanne, you're definitely going to get one, darling. Thank you too, Joanne, for watching us, because, you know, without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this.
No.
Okay? We try, and we try.
When we try.
But
But however,
however,
I think you'll be sending the book not after the next video clip, because that's very short. But I think our reincarnation video clip, which is very interesting, you will probably receive it. Yeah.
Yeah, so at least, you know, during tonight's show at some point I'll get it over there to you, darling girl. Okay? Yep. So if anyone else watching wants a copy, you've got another hour 10.
Yeah.
Hour. I'll say another hour. Drop up your email address and I'll send you one before we finish, but it's only while we're live.
Yeah.
Okay?
So it just to let the people know, it may be a little short of the show today, because I am under a little bit of pressure to get things done. So we should...
And I've also got a little bit of a sore throat. I need that NyQuil. I've been talking all day today, Mike.
Yeah.
Seriously. You know, I did a reading, plus I was on the phone for about 4 hours today, so my throat is already starting to go. Yeah. So, yep, it's all good. So let's get into our next video, darling.
Okay, well, this is some quite reputable ghost hunters, actually, and it's a very short video clip, but I'll be interested, Linda, to hear what you have to say about this.
Yep, let's go there.
Let's save our comments for after. Here we go.
We have some things we'd love to show you.
Yeah, please, I'm dying.
You're going to see something walk from the right to the left.
In front of those doors.
Behind
the doors.
Right, so here's that light, and I'm seeing that. I can say, Brian, get out here, and it's gone at that point. And then something pretty interesting happens. So you're going to want to watch right here.
What?
Keep watching.
Hold on. What the heck?
If this was somebody, one of our people per se, there would be some kind of detail, but we have to go in and try and recreate it.
But you were there with your own eyes and you didn't see any light anomaly there. That means that it's outside our visible spectrum.
I saw nothing like that.
Wild. Yeah, we got to get out there and set this camera up in the exact same place.
Yep.
And try to figure it out.
Sure. Sounds great, man.
I'm good with it. Let's go.
So, what do you think?
Okay. Well, you know, when I came from back from America, end of 2001, I came back from America, and it was about a year after that I really started looking around for paranormal groups to watch. And, you know, the internet in Australia here was still brand new, so it was hard to find anything, you know. But one of the first things that I did start watching was called TAPS, TAPS, and that was the lovely Jason Hawes and Grant Wilson. And I think that was Jason in that one, okay? So he is, in my opinion, one of those few rare paranormal investigators who, if they get something that they don't think's right, they will not put it into their show because their integrity is so high. So whenever I see Jason or Grant doing something, I always know that in my heart, and from her telling me, yes, thank you so much, that these guys are true paranormal enthusiasts. They don't mimic or make up or do things for the cameras, you know. So when I first saw this one, I just thought, wow, it's a shadow. But then when I saw Jason in there, I went, ooh, now you've got me intrigued. Because, you know, he does have a lot of my respect in the field, just because of his TAPS association, and then he went on to Ghost Hunters, etc. But when I slowed this video down, Mike, you can actually see through the shadow.
Right.
It's not a physical entity. It's an energetic entity. So I reckon this is true, you know, because you can see there's no door there or any other thing. And for him to actually say, we've got to go back down there and recreate this, they would have, because I know these guys, they would have gone down there, set up the camera and, you know, stuck their hands around and stuff to try and debunk it, which they don't put into the shows. But, you know, when you watch their extended version of their shows, they do all that. So I know he would have done that. Right. So, yeah, I firmly believe this is a true one. Love it.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's just take another quick look at it for everyone so that
Yeah.
they can, and I'll freeze frame it as well.
We
Yeah.
have some things we'd love to show you.
Yeah, please, I'm dying.
You're gonna see something walk from the right to the left.
In
here.
front of those doors.
Behind.
Behind the doors.
Right. So here's that light. Right. So here's that light, and I'm seeing that. I can say, Brian, get out here, and it's gone at that point. And then something pretty interesting happens. So you're gonna want to watch right here.
What I've seen with the lights, when I was in one of my circles, we was in the guy's living room, and it had a glass panel door. The door was shut, and the other side is a toilet and a cupboard. There's a little hallway, a toilet and a cupboard, and the front door, you have to go out the living room, a little left and a little right, and that's a glass panel. And we was there doing the circle, and this brilliant blue light flashed across. And everyone said, what was that? And I said, they said, it must have been a car because it was on the main road. And I said, but there's no door opposite. There's like a cupboard and a toilet.
See,
yeah.
I get so goosebumpy when people say that they see blue orbs because I talk about blue orbs in my book.
Yeah.
Let me just find the photo because it's here in my book. There it is. I talk about the blue orbs. They're in my book. The blue orbs.
Right.
They are energetic they are intelligent beings.
Yeah.
And that day that I had that pterodactyl here, he instantly went from this 60-foot-long dinosaur with wings in my backyard. Sorry, that is a mind blow in itself. But it instantly just went boom into a blue orb and then shot across my backyard, across Roy's yard, across to where the guy was walking home because it was following him. My intrigue goes up when people say, start talking about the blue orbs, Mike, because I've seen them so many times now. Yeah. But is it all the same? That's the thing. I don't think they're all the same.
No.
You know, it's just a formation
Yeah.
that any entity can take when it's manifesting.
Yeah.
But
I mean, what I remember with this blue light is if you can imagine something like you see in the Matrix movie, those lines, but it was at an angle and it come across like that, and it was like it was moving. Shump.
Wow.
And say people thought it must have been a car, but it's, as I say, opposite is a toilet with no window and a cupboard. You have to go about a metre to the left and then turn right before you see the front door. There's no way that light could have come in from the right.
Mm-hmm. How many times, Mike, do we sit here at night by ourselves, and we see something and you think, damn, didn't start the cameras in time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this week, I will give people a little heads up. My ghost story this week, it's a personal one, something in my house. It's still here today. So my Friday night video ghost story, it's still here. And every time I see it, I think, damn, didn't get the camera out. So tomorrow I might start the video and try and capture it because it's been here now for about 4 days.
Right.
So we'll see if I can capture something on video tomorrow.
Wow.
How cool will that be? And guess where I'll preview it live? Next week's show with you, Mike.
Yay.
So if I do get something, definitely, I only give out my good stuff to people who I know are the good stuff. Okay.
Super duper. All righty.
Good on you, darling. All right, let's keep going.
Where
are we going to
We're
now?
going to the Egyptian pharmacy where all kinds of shenanigans were going on. When I looked at the footnotes to this story, they said Ooh, very creepy. Ooh, be very careful. It's nothing we haven't really all seen before. But
No,
what,
it's not scary, guys. Okay, it's not gore material like sometimes when
yeah.
I'm sitting there doing this. It's not like that.
The
Okay.
interesting thing was this happened, they say, at 3 a.m. in the morning. And to my understanding, this is the stillest part of the moment where this paranormal activity can be more active.
Yeah.
So anyway, look, let's have a look. Let's
Let's
see
have a look at it,
what
darling.
you all think. Here we go.
Yeah.
So, my first thoughts on that was all that growling and stuff could actually, in the last end bit anyway, could have been a truck going by and, not with very good audio. I think we just got to try and disassociate what you see with sound, because you can put two and two together and make five if you're not careful. But seemed to
That's
be
why I don't like sound effects.
yeah.
These shows that put in the sound effects, it takes away the paranormal.
Yeah.
Or the woo.
Yeah.
We don't need that, guys.
But do
Okay?
you think this was a sound effect, or do you think this was a dastardly spirit there? He's certainly very angry by the looks of things, and lifted a chair. Was that string, or I'll throw this over to you?
I've looked at this probably 10 times this week, mate. Hell, I've been home alone. I've had the time to look at this one, and this is a good one. The thing that I love about it is that chair is where there's no doorways. You've got under the table, and then behind it you've got the rows of shelving against the wall from the camera. And when it moves, it goes towards that wall of shelving. So unless they've got a hole in that shelving to the next room and they're pulling it through with a string, but then it goes up in the air. And then it goes backwards. So it's a very elaborate trick or magnets or and I've watched it in slow motion as it was rising up. And it sort of does like a little ricochet thing, because it goes whoop, and then it sort of slows down. Whoop, like someone's just whoop.
Yeah.
So to me, that looks exactly how, it's just not like levitating with a string where someone's just pulling at it because it goes up, but it actually whoops, it's got that little bit of an oomph when it takes off.
It jolts.
So that it jolts. Thank you very much. I love your techie word for how it moves. It jolts. And so that adds value to the fact that it's paranormal. I don't know what that noise is, whether it's sound effects, but when you listen to the chair move by itself and you hear that scraping noise, whatever that noise is, it's closer to the camera because it's louder. So I don't know if it's a growl. The other video, I've got my doubts with that one, Mike. You know, I've never seen a ghost just carving its name like graffiti in the top of a desk, you know, or making signals like that. But then the thing that we have to consider here, now I'm going to go scientific here, okay, for a minute. When we look at a vision of footage like we just did, what our eyes do, because we've got two eyes that creates a focal point, right? This is the optical illusion when we've only got one optic. So if we close an eye, we think that squiggle was actually on the table.
Right.
But it could have been on the camera lens.
Right.
Because we can't determine through the optics of our focus, which gives us that depth, we can't determine if that was actually on the counter or if it was actually on the camera lens, like a bug smearing or something. Okay? So I'm not really liking that one at this point.
Okay.
You know, I did look at it a few times thinking, was that on the top of the table? And I was thinking, no, it's actually not. It's not. It's closer to the camera, which, you know, it could have been a bug on the lens, leaving a smear or something. I don't know. But, you know, I'm on the fence with the second bit, but that chair, I like that chair one.
Yeah.
Basically because of that jolt when it's taking off.
Right.
You know, and then it lands again. You know, that's hard to do with a string because chairs, you know, you drop a chair on a string and it generally loses its balance and topples over. This one didn't. It didn't do that.
No.
So it's balanced with its all fours coming down. It's balanced.
Yeah.
You know, so that would suggest that they've got one string over one arm, one string over the other arm, making a triangle to raise it. So when it comes back down, it's balanced. So, you know, it would have taken a bit of a doozy to create that. So I like that first one better.
Well, let's just have one more look at this so people can think about what we've said. And then
is the writing actually...
So, of course, if the second one is brought into disrepute, then that actually doesn't do much for the first one. You know, we then have to question the authenticity of the first one.
Now that I've just watched it again, that bottle, whatever it is that falls over, I like the first effect where it all just splurts out.
Right.
But then we've got these little boom, boom, booms that come out of it.
Right.
I don't like that bit.
Right.
Okay, I don't like that bit.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah.
Well, we'll sit on the fence with that one. I think that's the best
we'll
thing.
sit on the fence with it, darling. But I do like that chair, the way it was moving. You know, I've seen things moving around.
Well, you know, all I can say is if it's fake, they've done some good work there. And if it were me, I would be putting my energy into doing something much better than faking ghost things. I mean, you could make a little ghost movie and do something really creative, you know. But
Yes.
yeah, well, that's their choice. But
Yeah.
let's move
Yeah.
on to something.
Yep. And let me just
Yeah.
say, Joanne, you should have your book, babe. Thank you for wanting it. Last time I'm going to mention it. If anyone else wants a free copy of my book, comment your email. You'll get a free copy of my book, 5 Years in Heaven. It's only for people live. So if you're watching this later, you don't get one. Sorry, you got to watch us live. Okay. Oops.
So, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do some more uplifting stuff now. And I've got a
Yay.
few things I want to say about this. This next is the reincarnation. This young lad here, I'm not going to do a spoiler alert, just give you the gist of it. He believes he's the reincarnation of Diana, Princess of Wales, and gives some
Yeah.
pretty good evidence, even in this short little clip we're going to see. So really, I'd really like to hear your own thoughts of this. I've got quite a few thoughts on this that I'd like to share with you all after, and no doubt, Linda, you have as well. So let's play this and see what happens here.
Yep.
A 4-year-old boy in Adelaide, Australia, has told his parents that he used to be Britain's Princess Diana in his previous life. His parents laughed off the statement as one of those cute things kids say. But over time, they were shocked to find that his knowledge of the former Princess of Wales' life included facts that it would have been impossible for him to know. Here is the amazing story. Billy Thompson was 2 years old when someone gave his British mother Lisa a Lady Di novelty greetings card. On seeing the card, Billy pointed at the image and exclaimed, "Look, it's me as a princess." The family had never discussed the life of the Princess of Wales, who had passed away 18 years before Billy was born. According to his father, TV presenter David Campbell, they also had zero Raw's paraphernalia in their home. The parents were accordingly mystified as to where Billy's comments came from. Billy started talking to his family about his 2 boys, and when later asked, they explained that he meant his sons, the British Princes William and Harry. Billy is the grandson of Australian-Scottish-born rock musician Jimmy Barnes, and on meeting a Scottish friend of the family, started describing a castle he used to visit when he was Princess Diana. He accurately named it as Balmoral Castle and said that it had unicorns on its walls. The unicorn is Scotland's national animal, with 2 of the legendary creatures appearing on either side in its royal arms. Multiple images of unicorns adorn the facade and interior of Balmoral Castle. A further disturbing statement came from Billy when Lisa showed him another photograph of Princess Diana. He again claimed that it showed him as a princess, with the added comment, "Then one day the sirens came and I wasn't a princess anymore." His parents were chilled to hear that their son appeared to have some memory of the princess's fatal car accident in Paris in 1997. But the strangest and most unexplained part of Billy's account was his mention of a brother called John. Initially, his parents felt relieved. Princess Di's brother was named Charles, and they felt that there was no way she had a brother John. They decided, however, to check her family history online, and were astonished to find that a baby brother who had been named John had been born to her parents. Sadly, he passed just hours after birth and a full year before Diana was born. Folkloric accounts of reincarnation abound in every country of the world and are said to predate the advent of the major religions. A common theme seems to be that children experience memories of past lives from about the age of 2, but by 8 years of age they have faded. Another is that souls often reincarnate within the same culture. Billy's parents seem to have rightly not asked him too many questions about his memories, some of which are probably traumatic. Shanti Devi, who is much publicised reincarnated soul, has commented that the memories can also raise strong desires to reunite with lost loved ones. And she said, I do not want to open that closed door again.
What do you think, Linda?
Well, let's just go there. If Tashi, when she was a baby, if she came out and said someone, if she'd been somebody who died in a very controversial way, I'd document it, but there is no way known I'd talk about it. Because that kid's now got a target on his back. If, imagine the secrets that Princess Diana knew.
Yeah.
And you come out and say, hey, I'm Princess Diana. They're going to want to put him into like a hypnosis and find out all her secrets.
Yeah.
So there is no way known I'd be out there promoting and making money out of harming my kid in that way,
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I want to say, I document it, and probably release it in 100 years. This was filmed on this day, but I'd certainly not put that kid into any sort of peril with any sort of government 3-letter agency or British 3-letter agency or royal house where there would be secrets that they want to keep in that closet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine what that kid could say under hypnosis. Seriously.
Yeah.
Oops. Oops and oops.
Well, carry on.
So I actually thought, though, that I was a pretty good royalist. If you don't know what a royalist is, it means it's someone that follows the royal family. I lived in the UK when I was a kid. Hello, Mum and Dad went to Buckingham Palace. They met the Queen. I went to
Get thee behind me, Satan.
I went to a girls' school where there was royalty. I like saying this, But at the end of the day, I did not know she had a brother called John.
Yeah.
So I went out and on my little own search, and lo and behold, I found it. Princess Diana did have a brother called John. He died at a couple of, before his first birthday, whether it was a couple of days, couple of months, he was still a baby. So for this kid to come out and not only say that he had a brother, hello, he got the sex, and then he got the name, that adds some value to the fact that I'd be keeping that kid in a closet for the next couple of years to protect him from anyone that wanted to come and find out anything else he knew,
Yeah.
Wow, so that's all I want to say on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my thoughts on this are manifold. First of all, yes, this could be absolutely correct. This is the reincarnation of Diana, Princess of Wales. Straightforward.
Yeah.
My other thought is, I know that people decide to incarnate now at a faster rate than we did, say, 100 years ago. There was a time where people would incarnate and it would take 60, 70, 80, maybe 100 years before they come out. Now people are doing it a lot quicker. My only thing about this is that I feel this is an incredibly short time for an incarnation. So I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying that's something to consider. What I think is probably more plausible, again, I'm not saying I'm right, but just from my understanding, is that this child made a pre-birth contract with Diana, that she would give him the memories of her. For him to say what he said for an undisclosed reason at this moment in time that will be revealed later on.
You're mentioning, can I just go there? You're mentioning something I talk about in my book. Okay, I just want to show it again, guys. It's now available on Lulu. When I was doing my life review, not only was I me in the memory, but I also had to become the other person who I was interacting, or animal or window that I talk about. So when I became, say, that cat, because, I like talking about when I was playing with my grandmother's cat, the white Persian. When I became that cat, everything that cat went through, all its memories. You know any injuries it's got because you're it. You actually are now inside that white Persian cat. So how do we know that when we are in heaven, because it happens, we can connect, like I talk about the duck, where I connect with the duck, and I am now the duck looking over at Linda standing on the side because she's now a separate entity. And how do we know that when Princess Diana's soul was in heaven, here's another soul interacting with hers, and he's brought those memories back into this lifetime? We don't know, Mike.
No. No.
But he's obviously got some information there,
Yeah.
because I didn't even know she had a brother.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the first place I looked at where I found it. They didn't talk about it. So but I did find it on some history channel somewhere. But then you also got to sit there. Was there a conversation that this kid overheard in his? We've only just had August. Every August, a lot of people do talk about Princess Diana.
Do they?
Imagine him. He could be sitting there. She died in August 77. I'm 97. So how do you know he could have been sitting there in his cot and his mum and her friend was sitting there, oh, where were you the day Diana died in that crash in the tunnel?
Yeah.
And he's heard that. So as he's grown, he's thinking, oh, Princess Diana died in a tunnel. I'm not a princess anymore. So there are a lot of factors that we have to consider, and any sort of external compromises that could occur to that could debunk these. But for him to mention a brother, and I didn't even know that she had a brother when I knew a lot about Princess Diana, I thought. So gives it a little bit of credence, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the case
credibility
of the there was the young boy who incarnated again, and he incarnated into the town that wasn't too far where his last life was. This was in the Middle East somewhere, and he was murdered. And he actually pointed out where he was killed with an axe and where his body is. And he also pointed out who killed him.
That's exactly right.
And the police actually went and interviewed the guy who killed him and broke down and confessed.
That's right. And then look at that great one that we had on a couple of months ago, where that kid gets into the plane and he knows how to fly the plane.
Yeah.
Oh
and
my God.
He knows
and the parent
names,
said
everything,
he knows the names of everybody who died in this car, this plane crash. He's still got it, and his parents are there like, we've never taken him to an air show before. So how does he know to get into a plane? And he's talking about all the equipment and how to start the plane and keep it going. My dad was Air Force. I've been in probably 20,000 planes in my lifetime, and at all the air shows and stuff that I've gone to, and I don't even know what all the techie buttons and stuff are for. So how would a 2-year-old? Seriously, I don't know. Unless there is some pre-birth memory or pre-birth existence where they have gone through that before. Yes.
Well,
so
we do know from NDE storytellers that, for example, when I pass, for example, I might be fortunate enough to experience, say, being Elvis Presley, living. I can have that experience from the day he's born to the day he dies, in that kind of time frame. I can experience, if you like, just being him on stage in Vegas, if I've been given that privilege, if I've earned that. So there, it just, what I'm saying is it isn't just clear cut. There is something to this. Possibly this will be revealed years ahead, but like you say, this kid is putting himself, unbeknown to him, at some kind of risk. Hopefully in the years to come, it won't be such a problem. But I must tell you a quick story. When we done our 21st of the month global meditation, I asked everyone to give their experiences, and we were talking about other things, and we was talking about the possibility. Oh, that's right. I was saying that, look, we all chose to come to this earth plane right now, so we shouldn't complain. We're here to sort this out. And Elizabeth was saying that she saw the story of, it was a young baby still in his cot, and the young brother was about 4 years old, no more. And they had the webcam and recorder so the parents could hear the children. And they saw the elder brother of about 4 years lean over into the crib and say to his baby brother, "Please help me to remember." And I thought, wow, that was beautiful, because
is beautiful.
He was approaching the age where he'd start to forget. The baby was at the age where he or she could clearly remember. So
yes,
that was a really nice little story that she told.
That's right. Yes, you know, we do a lot of NDE stories about nurses in hospitals where they see weird things when people are dying. What about if we try and find a story about a midwife where she hears some really cool stuff in the birthing quarters,
right,
where the babies, you know, obviously they can't talk, but they can still demonstrate you know, but they can still demonstrate things.
Yeah.
You know, like there are babies out there I've seen that are like 2-3 days old and they know sign language.
Yeah.
You know, and it makes sense. It is the language of sign language that they do, because they know that they can't talk yet.
Yeah.
That's an old soul.
Yeah.
You know, oh, I'm aware that I won't be able to talk for another 2 years, so right now I'll just talk in hand signals. Yeah. You know, so it would be interesting if there's that sort of story out there somewhere.
And the pointing, how babies just suddenly start going like this.
Yeah. Well, that's like Mary, my cat, darling, because this week she's been going crazy, you know, because I've got another ghost in my house, haven't I? Oh, my God. And the good thing there is I've got witnesses. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about that on Friday night. Yay! If I get any footage, I won't share it. I'll send it to you so we can put it on next week's show if I get any footage, Mike.
Okay, yay. Super.
All right, so where are we going to next, darling?
Well, we're going to go and hear about the NDE of this young lady, Silvia. There's a few that I've noticed that because they're in German, they've been dubbed, but you know, it's dubbed in a voiceover, but it still serves the purpose. So let's have a look at this again. I won't give it a spoiler alert. Let's just hear it, and we'll make some comments after. So here we go.
Yeah. I was 24 years old when giving birth to my daughter, Regula. To begin with, the birth went smoothly, but gradually it turned out that the afterbirth could not be released from the uterus. Therefore, I received a second anesthesia, and the subsequent operation may have been the reason why I lost lots of blood. Then I found myself inside a tunnel. I was thrown forward with great force. I was terrified and thought I must be dying. During this experience, I saw a kind of life film, starting from the present, working backwards to the past. Thereby, I was experiencing stations and sequences of my life with people close to me, and I became aware of their feelings, as well as simultaneously of my own feelings, which was rather peculiar, that I would now die. Then I saw a brilliant white and bright light at the end of the tunnel. It was indescribable, and I was floating closer to this light, and all of a sudden I was so relaxed, and I was enshrouded in this light with an encompassing love, with peace, with a bliss, and this was so beautiful. But at the same time, I also perceived some people around me. But this was just a perception in the form of energies. I knew that this was my soul family, to which I felt closely associated. It was like a coming home. It was really beautiful over there, And then I heard myself saying in a kind of telepathic way, "But I cannot die now. I just gave birth to a daughter. I still have a task." And I also heard an answer also in a kind of telepathic way, "That's true. Your time has not yet come. You have to go back." And as soon as I heard this answer, I was pulled back into the tunnel and was kind of thrown back into the earthly world. When I woke up, I was directly looking into the eyes of the midwife. She was looking at me in a very peculiar way, and I knew that she knew something that I did not know. That something had happened, but I was so tired, much too tired, as never before in my life. I hardly could take my daughter in my arms, which saddened me quite a bit. I was just so tired of life. On the other hand, I thought that now I actually should be happy because I had given birth to a healthy daughter. But nevertheless, I was very concerned about this issue, but I was not able to talk about it, nor did I want to do so, because I already had such an experience at the age of 5 when people didn't believe me. I was such a cheerful and active young woman, but after this experience, I became a little depressed, and there was this longing, my profound desire for this peace and this bliss, and for this endless and boundless love that I had experienced. And from all this, I knew that dying is something very beautiful and wonderful, and that there is no reason at all to be afraid of dying. Then back into childhood, yes, and everything went very quickly, and only in the form of imagery, associations, and the feelings I was thereby experiencing. The first 6 to 8 weeks I was somewhat reserved. I didn't know exactly what to expect from my life, and I was also somewhat depressed and tired, just tired. But the fatigue might also have been caused by the big loss of blood, because blood formation up to normal levels takes time. But nevertheless, my life had changed. So I experienced nature differently. I saw nature through new eyes, and I also experienced colors differently. I became more sensitive and perceptive. I read lots of books on dying, on near-death experiences, on reincarnation, on angels and channeling. And this topic was very much on my mind, because suddenly I had another access to it. I disliked quarreling, and neither did I like any films with violent action. And I also felt the aura of people, which prompted me to further my knowledge, and I finished a training in holistic healing methods and mediumship, as well as in astrology. And I received more and more answers to what I experienced at that time, and so I could be confident about the many things I had experienced. And now I also see life differently. I knew, what I mean is that my priorities changed, because I knew that it's all about love and sharing, about communicating, about empathy, and about just loving. For me, a life after death is reality.
That's it for today's video. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
You know, I wish we would get into the habit, instead of saying life after death, but talk about life after life. It's a much more pleasant and probably more accurate way of referring to this. But isn't it interesting how they all have new perceptions, back in touch with nature, understand much more the meaning of life?
Yeah, absolutely, darling.
Your thoughts?
You know, I look at my life up until 2001 when I died. I wasn't an AH, you know, if you know what I'm talking about there, but you know, I was different when I came back in 2001. I appreciated so much more because I'll go there with one of the quotes that she says. She said, I became aware of their feelings simultaneously of my own feelings. You know, I talk about that with the duck, where I'm looking at a flock of ducks and then instantly I'm concentrating on just this one duck and then on the duck. I am this duck. Looking back and I'm looking at Linda, this human, and I knew everything about the duck. I could feel the heart rate. I could feel all the feathers on me. You know, so it doesn't go away, those memories. They're still very current. You know, I was talking to Anna Knapp. Hello, Anna, because she always watches our show the next day. And I was telling her one day about my memories, and she said the same thing. She said, because she's had a near-death experience as well, and she said the memories aren't like memories of 10 years ago. It's like it happened yesterday. And I said, exactly. That 5 years that I went home for, you know, I lie in bed at night and I'm instantly back there like it was just me remembering I went to the shop yesterday, you know. So I love that she said, I become aware of their feelings, that interconnection. You know, and then she talks about the blood loss. I had a very similar thing with Tashi. The placenta doesn't come out. You know, if you look back past 100 years ago, women died in childbirth because of their bleeding because the placenta didn't come out. Sorry if I just gore people out there, but it's the truth. But it happened to me. The placenta didn't come out, so I too had to go and get operated on, and I actually had to have 2 blood transfusions. So, you know, I remember very clearly what that was like, having to have 2 blood transfusions. Thank God that was 15 years ago and not like today, because I'm already banned with the Red Cross, by the way. So, mate, they don't want to know about me at this point. They've banned me. So the other thing that I want to talk about here is it in our life contract to actually have an NDE? Yeah, this is food for thought.
Yeah.
You know, because we all have subcontracts in our life contracts. There's always sub-clauses, and subcontracts. We have those outs. You know, how many times in our lives do we have those near misses where you think, wow, I could have died today? Yeah. You know, those moments. We all have those. So, you know, we do have outs in our contracts. But generally we live to tell the tale because we're still determined to live and to continue our life. But we do have life contracts which have the subcontracts and sub clauses in there for escape routes. So is it possible that we say, okay, I'm going to live my first 20 years as this person, have this NDE, and then come back and have this epiphany of what it's like to share it to others?
Yeah.
You know, flower power type stuff, you know, because I think it could be both.
Yeah.
Some people, they have that little near miss, which, oops, nearly causes it to really occur. So they get that glimpse to help their lives to become better. But then other people do sign in their contracts, I contract myself to go through this event where I will come back and I will start talking about how to get, you know, like me. I personally believe I contracted myself to go to America to a man who I'd only met twice and gone over there, had my death experience, so I would talk about it.
Right.
Because I am seriously not the same person today that I was before 2001. You know, I used to step on ants all the time. Now I can't.
No.
You know, that's the basics of what I'm talking about. But when you talk about as a spiritual person, you know, where I try and understand and show more compassion, understanding, forgiveness and empathy to people, You know, I always knew I was a psychic, but now I'm really getting into that depth of what truly is being spiritual.
Yeah.
And, you know, I firmly believe that I did contract myself to have that experience, you know. Thank good I did, because hello, obviously went to plan.
Yeah.
You know, because 20 years ago, someone said, you know, I was working with Australia Post in my 20s. You know, someone said to me, hey, you're going to go to America, you're going to die, you're going to come back and say all this hocus pocus about flower power and, you know, crystals and singing bowls, and what's the use of I don't know, tinchy bells and ruins, you know, because I've got my bag of ruins now. You know, I would have just thought these people were absolute nutters. You know, yeah, what sort of mushrooms have you been eating? You know, flower power type trends. But I'm glad I did, Mike, because, you know, I'd never have met you if I didn't have my NDE, you know, and this is one thing that I was actually saying to Anna today when I was talking to her. We can never, ever assume what our life would be like if we didn't do something in our past.
Yeah.
And that is a very big thing. Now, Anna was the one who actually said that, so I don't like stealing people's quotes. She said, we can never assume what our future would be like if we decided to go back and change our past. We had to go through everything in our past to make us the person that we are today.
The butterfly effect.
Anna, that was your quote. Anna Knapp, I don't like stealing people's quotes. So, Anna, I know you always watch this when you get up, because she lives in Wisconsin in the USA. So, you know, she won't get up now for about another 5 hours, because it's 3 a.m. over there for her. It's 3 a.m. in Wisconsin at the moment. So, you know, that was gorgeous that she said that to me this morning. You know, it makes me realise, Mike, that the people I've got in my life at the moment are my tribe. You know, we're not connected by blood. We're connected by something so deeper, so much rawer, and so more genuine than blood relatives are.
Sure. Yeah.
You know? And that is why I'm here every week. That's why I love, 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 love the work that I do now. Because, you know, my NDE, it totally turned my life around. And I'm so grateful when we hear other people's stories where they have similar situations. Yeah. You know, I feel sorry for her when she had that blood loss after the baby, because I know what that was like. Yeah. You know, I was in hospital for a few weeks. I was really sick, you know.
I bet, yeah.
Well, then I got the, they gave me blood transfusions, and then about 3 days later, when I was starting to get better, they said I started vomiting and pooing at the same time. So I actually call that the poo and spew flu. So then I was in quarantine myself. You know, I just had a new baby, which was down in ICU because Tashi was born at 26 weeks. And here I am with this poo and spew flu in isolation myself, you know. Yeah. Oh, it's fun what we do to ourselves. But, we got through it. It's all good.
Well, I mean, clearly, you know, I think people that have these NDE experiences, and you don't have to have the NDE experience to move into the 5D consciousness, but clearly it's a big plus. Like yourself, you know, well, I don't step on animals, insects. I can't even watch violence anymore, to be quite honest.
No, neither can I.
You know,
I said at the beginning I've been watching The Witcher for 2 days, and even the gore in there, I have to flinch and say, no, don't do that. You know, there's a part there where his horse dies, and I'm looking at this poor horse. I know it's only an actor, you know, they've told it to lie down, you know. And I was sitting there thinking, no, not a horse, you know. Wow.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't even watch those nature programs where the lion is chasing the gazelle.
Yeah, I know.
I just can't watch it. I can't go to a zoo. My heart bleeds for these poor animals that they like a polar bear in the bloody middle of Vienna. It's got like 100 square meters to roam around in. I mean, this is abuse, actually, in my view.
Well, let's go there. The one that I feel is total abuse is the shark whale. The shark whale is one of the biggest whales, and it's the one with all the beautiful white spots down it.
Right.
Those creatures generally live about 5 miles deep.
Right.
So when they capture them and stick them into an aquarium, because the water is only, say, 100 feet deep, all their sonar is off.
Yeah.
They can't communicate properly because they're used to the depths. What is it when you're constricted? What's that called? When you dive in, you go into the bends.
The bends, yeah.
You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
concentration of the
Yeah.
air or water pressure. So they can't survive when they're put into a freaking tank that's only 100 feet deep.
Yeah.
So that's why these poor whale sharks, which are, they're borderline extinct, because people just want to look at them because they're so pretty, but they live 5 miles deep where, that's their natural habitat.
Yeah.
So, I don't like hearing stories about the whale sharks at all, because they don't live very long.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, well done. Let's get on with Cindy Kaza.
Cindy Kaza,
yeah,
we're running out of time. I've got
Yeah,
to be,
we're running out
I've
of
got to
time,
be
Dad.
prompto for the first time in life. So
Yay.
let's have a
we'll
look.
get you there, Dal. Let's go and have a look at her.
Let's have a look at the work of Cindy Kaza.
There's a woman who feels like sister or friend. I want everyone to listen. And she passes of cancer in her 30s. I'm positive of this. I feel like she's in her 30s. Okay, so let me keep going. Now, your ex-wife, was she also your friends? Did you guys get along after? You were friends. Beautiful. Okay, so it's your ex-wife and your friend. Oh, happy to see you guys together. Okay. That is the message. That's the message. I'm just teasing you. Oh, God bless. Now, but let me talk to both of you, because what she shows me, I'm laughing at myself. That was funny, right? Now, what she shows me is that when she was diagnosed with cancer, because she's young when she passes away, and this is so unexpected, because I feel like she's a healthy person, and that she gets sick. It's like out of nowhere, and by the time they find it, it's too late. Do you understand that?
Absolutely.
Yes. Because she says, boy, I found out, it was such a shock, and in fact, I feel like she didn't tell very many people at first. Am I right about that?
She hid it a secret for a long time.
She did can you talk into the mic? I can't hear you, honey.
It was a secret for a while.
It was a secret. Because, she was so afraid to talk about it because she didn't want it to be real, but she also didn't want people to worry about her or to be upset. So she's showing me that although some people, I feel, were upset that she didn't tell them right away. Do you understand that?
We were upset.
You were upset. And she's saying, listen, I'm really sorry that I didn't tell you sooner. But I was trying to deal with it myself, and I didn't want to believe it was real, but I wasn't trying to keep it from you on purpose. Please know that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't intentional, really, it wasn't intentional. She never meant to hurt you by not telling you. All right, I'm just gonna go with it. All right. Got a lady here, and I know she must have loved some exotic dancing at some point in her life. She says, don't call me a stripper, call me a dancer. So I will call her a dancer. But she didn't do it. No, she said, I did it for a few years. Okay. I made good money, and I didn't tell my parents, and I don't want them to know, but I don't know. She's doing it because she's paying her way through school, but she doesn't want her parents to know. You understand all of this?
Yep.
So she danced her way through school, is that right?
Yep.
Yes, I knew we would find her. But your parents don't know.
Nope.
They don't know, that's right, they don't know. And they're not here.
Nope.
God bless. Not only were you guys sisters, but there's a time where you must have been closer at one point then, and then it kind of broke away a little bit. Do you understand that?
Uh-huh.
Because she's saying, I know we used to be so close, and then we fell away from each other.
Uh-huh.
And she says, I'm sorry that I hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
Because she wants you, see, look, she's here. She wants you to know that she's really sorry that she said the things she said to you, because I know she hurt you, and she didn't mean to. She was very confused in her life towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
And the decisions she was making she wasn't dating the right people either. Do you understand that? her boyfriend was, am I correct in saying she had an abusive boyfriend?
Uh-huh.
And did he actually take her life?
Uh-huh.
Because he shows me that is he on the other side too? It was a murder-suicide, is that correct? Because, I'm sorry, I know that they're, I'm so sorry, honey. Because I know that people tried to get her out of this relationship and she didn't want to listen. I know, honey. I just want you to know that she loves you so much and she's sorry that she didn't listen always, but she heard you and she was just scared. And she loves you. And did you guys get tattoos in her memory? You did, didn't you? Did you have a candlelight visual or something for your sister, your mom, or wife? See the candlelight. Yeah. I know it's a lot. So what I'm going to do is say to you, so much love from your mom and your sister, and I want to come down and give you a big hug. Really. Here, can I give you a hug? Please let me give you a hug. And God bless, and thank you for coming and being here. Love you. I love you. Okay? Thank you.
Oh, I remember the days when we could hug and shake hands and
That's exactly what I was going to say, Mike. You know, I'm a hugger. You know, I hug everybody, you know? Yeah. And this is hurting me that now I just don't want to hug anybody. You know? What have you got? Girl germs, boy germs.
I hug anyone that comes into our little palace here.
Yeah, although I've always been a hugger, so for her to hug, that was awesome. You know, it's gorgeous.
Hug, but no one comes in here with a mask. That's
no.
We're living normal here in this little paradise here. But there you are, excellent evidence from this lady. It's very difficult bringing forward suicide people, but you know, she got it spot on. Her life was taken as suicide from the other fella. Good evidential medium.
Yeah, that's right,
Not
darling.
sure if I'd like to do it in that kind of drinking cabaret kind of atmosphere, but horses for courses. Not for me.
Well,
but
we've discussed that previously too, darling. You know, I don't like doing live videos, live shows like that anyway.
Yeah.
You know, it may be very traumatic. For somebody, you know, they might say, oh, yeah, I want to go and connect with my mum. You know, my mum was a saint, but then through comes Uncle Johnny, you know, who was the total polar opposite, you know. So you don't know who's going to come through when you do these sort of shows, you know. So that's why I like doing them in private. You know, I have done a couple of readings over the past couple of weeks, and the person that comes through is not the one that they expect. You know, so hello, it's all good, you know, because it's private, so it's confidential. And then if they get upset, well, hello, I always have the tissues available anyway, because I start bawling, they start bawling, you know, and I'm doing this at the screen like, come and hug me, even though you're in, I don't know, Wisconsin. I'll just say Wisconsin because we were talking about Anna being there. But, you know, wow. Love what I do.
Yeah.
Well, darling, we might get going because I've just had to run out. I've just started boiling the letter, the kettle. I'm going to take, who said it? I think it was either Kimberly or Melinda. I think it was Melinda. It was lemon and honey, Melinda. Definitely on the cards for me because I have got a bit of a sore throat. No, I'm not sick. I have been talking all day today since about 8 o'clock this morning. Lots and lots of phone calls, etc. I've done today. So
you sure you haven't got the Rona, Linda? Come on, be honest.
I wouldn't know either, mate, because I don't have a PCR test. You know, it's all over the news now here in Australia saying that, oh, we're stopping it, boo, boo, boo. Well, hello, CDC banned it 6 months ago because they knew it didn't work back then.
Yeah.
So, it's just all propaganda, mate. I'm through with it. Sorry. Oops, did I just say that live on air?
You do.
Who cares?
Well,
we've already been banned once, Dal. Anyway,
alrighty. Listen.
Just look after yourself, guys.
Yeah, I've got a dash. I've got a reading to
Yeah.
do. I've got to prepare for it, and it's with the old table, so I've got to get linked in, connected with the table before they come.
Yep.
So,
And I've got some lemons in the fridge because I've made cheesecakes this week. That's probably why I'm not feeling so good in my throat, because I've been eating cheesecake today as well.
yeah.
Okay. Doesn't matter. Tashi's not here. She doesn't know. It's all good. All right,
she'll
guys.
find
So,
out. But
we won't talk to you before the new year. So I am going to do a video on New Year resolutions. Please, if you go over to Dr. Linda Kramer on YouTube, it will be up on about the 31st of December. Talking about resolutions, what do we want to get rid of, what do we want to bring in the next year. So I hope that's an uplifting video for people. So if you don't hear from us, we won't be here until this time next week. So I hope that you all have a great new year. Think about where you've been in the past. Think about what you want to change and what greatness that you want to bring in the future. Okay?
Yep.
Mike, what do you want to add?
Well, there's not a lot to add to that. What I would say is what we done yesterday in our circle meditation was that during the meditation we asked for everything that was blocking us to be removed.
Great one. I love that. Yes.
We also asked that we were to be reminded and to bring the power back and the magic back within us. Because whilst it's still out there, some of us forget it. So we asked to have that power, to remember that power and magic that's within, to be so we could expose it again to ourselves. And finally, we asked that in this next coming year, many of us, all of us, no matter what side of the fence you're sitting on, we're going to have a lot of forgiveness in our hearts for everything that's been going on.
Oh, yes.
And so this was the other thing that we put out. And the new year brings a new energy. And it seems like a perfect time to do all this. So that's it.
It's all good, darling man. Well, I'm going to let you go, Dal, so you can go and have your great day. I've got to go get my lemon and honey together. Thank you so much, Melinda, for offering that.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you up on the offer and make it. So, guys, stay safe, stay in love with who you are and what you project to others.
All
and
you
we'll
need
see you
is
all
love.
next week.
All you need
All
is
you
love.
need. Oh, yeah, I know. It's all good.
See you next week.
See you next week, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.